From a passion and vision born of deep-rooted personal experience and more than 2 decades of research, education, experimentation, and consultation with the best in the fields of food, nutrition, physiology, anatomy, molecular science, and understanding of the human mind.
Cool.
Preet has become an in-demand holistic nutrition and food authority. In fact, several people who have hired Preet privately to deal with food allergies or ADHD or performance as athletes. A number of people in my network who have worked with him suggested that we really wanted to have him here. And so I'm delighted that we've had the opportunity to do this. Preet has privately coached hundreds of personal clients dealing with acute or chronic illnesses, people dealing with allergies, and elite sports teams up to the Olympic level. He believes that we need to reconnect differently with our food, with the systems that produce our food, and with our community. He's powerful, he's optimistic, and he has answers.
Cool.
Preet Marwaha.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here, and I love getting together as a community. No matter what the purpose or the idea behind it, just the idea of coming together as people often starts changes and shifts in the world, which is what I was all about. And Organic Lives, which I'll speak to a little bit, it was born from a necessity for change. 23 years ago, I thought I was on top of the world, as an inspiring Olympic athlete, had a great future in terms of career path and really a clear idea of what I wanted to do until I got really, really sick. And I found myself in the hospital fighting for my life with no answers, nobody in the medical community being able to really tell me what was going on or offer a solution. So I left the hospital against all advice and sought out my own path. Ended up being introduced to one of my dearest friends today and greatest mentors, John Robbins, who had written a book called Diet for New America. He sent me up a copy of the book, and it completely changed the way I was going to live my life. And I made the change in using food as a catalyst, ended up healing myself, saving my life. So to this day, I give credit to John for really saving my life, not that he'll take the credit. So, out of great necessity comes great change. And over the years, I've spent a lot of my life being obsessed and trying to understand food, our food systems, and how they impact our health, how they impact the planet's health, how they connect to every social issue that we have in the world today. And whether that issue is deforestation, water contamination, soil erosion, species extinction, poverty, hunger, the list goes on and on. Climate change, it all comes back to our food choices. And we spend all of our lives going through school, going through post-secondary, getting degrees, double degrees, triple degrees, and nobody ever tells us anything about food. Nobody ever teaches us what food actually is. Where does it come from? Where does it grow? What should we be eating? How should we be eating it? So in this sort of lack of knowledge, it was, we need to do something, and we need to do something different. We could change our attitudes, we could change our behaviors, but usually what happens is you get small little changes. And if you change your attitudes and behaviors in a system that is flawed, your results are always flawed. So it's time to make a paradigm shift. And my theme throughout most of my life has been around being crazy. I was told I was told I was crazy the day that I walked out of the hospital. I was told I was crazy the day that I told my parents I was going to change the way I was going to eat and never eat anything that was cooked or had meat or dairy and so forth and so forth. I was crazy when I was told by my family, my friends, that starting a business was probably the dumbest thing I could do. So I had a great job. I was in the career path in the corporate world, on my way to being a CEO. It was time for a change, because part of my journey was about how do we make a difference in the world? How do we bring about a change in the world that helps us understand food differently? So I left that space And my beautiful wife is here today, and she doesn't get to hear me speak often. So I want to take a moment and just thank her for being by my side. You know, it's, yeah. I remember the day that I came home from the corporate thing and said, you know, I know the economy's in a downturn because it was 2008, the economy had crashed. We just paid off a whole bunch of debt. I said, you know, I'm going to quit my job and we're going to start a business. And we're going to have to mortgage our property, cash out our RSPs, and borrow some money. Is that okay? And she just looked at me like she thought I was kidding. And she soon realized that, you know, I wasn't kidding. Honestly, she's stood by me in all these years, and without her and without her support, none of this would have happened. So I owe a lot to Amrit. When we set out on a path of business, it's really not about business. For all of you entrepreneurs out there, you know what I'm talking about. It's not about business. It's not about making a bucket load of money. It's not about the fame. It's not about the glory. It's about something you believe in. That's what entrepreneurship is really about. What do you believe in? And for us in Organic Lives, it was very clear what we believed in. We had 5 core principles that we were going to build this business on. One was organic. When I say organic, I'm not talking about some logo or certification. I'm talking about a philosophical way of growing the food like we've done for thousands of years. The second was sustainability. And sustainability doesn't mean our bottom line. It doesn't mean greenwashing. It means making sure that everything we do has that in mind. Not that we have all the answers. Every step of the way, we go to great lengths to make sure we're doing the right thing. And it comes at a great price. We have to be willing to pay that price. The third one was about fair trade. And again, not about a logo, not about a certification, but putting a value on the entire chain. It starts with the seeds that get planted in the ground by the most amazing people in the world called farmers, who, you know, not too long ago were the most revered profession in the world. And today, they're not even recognized as a profession. They've taken them off the census. So somewhere along the way, in the last 60 or 70 years, we've lost our way, because we've lost our value for food. We've lost our connection and our relationship with food. And outside of the business, we have a small charity where we go to schools and we build gardens. And we're getting kids reconnected with food. And the number of children that I get to interact with who never knew that a tomato grew in a plant continues to surprise me. Something is wrong in our system if our children are growing up not understanding food, not having a relationship with food. And we're happy as a society to spend $100 million to build children's hospitals dedicated to cancer. Yet we're not willing to change what we put into our children's body so they never get cancer. This is the kind of paradigm shift that we need. So if we're going to change the world, if we're going to do something different, then we all need to go home and look in the mirror and decide what it is that I can do differently today. How is it that can I contribute to the world so we create a space, an environment where corporations like Monsanto don't control our food supply? We create a world where our children can grow up and know they're going to have parks to play in, know they're going to have fresh water to drink, know they're actually going to have a planet with trees. Because at the current rate of deforestation, the Amazon rainforest is going to disappear in 25 years. It supplies half the world's oxygen and 3/4 of our biodiversity. What happens when it disappears? What happens to the children of North America who are graduating today from high school with a diploma in one hand and cardiovascular disease in the other at a rate of 1 out of every 2? what chance are these children going to have to change the world? What chance are they going to have to grow up and do something with their lives for the world? These are the questions that we need to start asking ourselves. These are the things that we need to go home and think about. Because we need a paradigm shift. We've got to stop supporting the companies and the brands that we don't want to, that we don't believe in, that are not doing good things for the world. It's really not that complicated. We've got 6 amazing entrepreneurs on this stage who've all sacrificed various parts of their lives and so forth to try to make a difference. And the fact that all of you are here to support us, for people like us, it means the world, because we know there is great hope that we can change the world, that we can do something different. And on the path of business, and I know we've got some specific questions that we want to get to, and I certainly want to address some of those as I kind of walk you through this story and this journey. Having those principles is the most important thing you can have. So organic, sustainable, fairly traded. And the last 2 principles were good for the body and good for the planet. And we figured, as long as we maintain those 5 principles as the foundation for everything that we do, we won't go wrong. And they've helped us get to where we are. They've guided us through everything that we've gone through. As a business, as individuals, it's been that pillar, are our principles. Because without principles, we have nothing. We really have nothing if we don't have principles. And then it's just passion and determination to succeed. If you're not passionate about what it is that you're doing, why do it at all? If you want to get into business to make money, there's a lot of things we could do to make money. I always joke with my friends. If I really wanted to make money, I would have just sold cocaine. Because there's a lot more money in that than there is organic food.
It's a really profitable business.
So you've got to have the passion for what it is that you're doing, that belief and that conviction. Because that is what captures the people around you. That is how we were able to go from, a 1-person, 2-person with my wife who was forced to join the business. She had to, because we were all invested in it, to, a company that grew to 65 people and $5 million in revenue in 2.5 years. And then we started really learning the lessons. Because about a year ago, I got to stand and watch our business burn down. And that was the greatest lesson that one could learn. Is watching everything you built and thought you wanted to do and were doing, and watch it all go away. It was actually the best thing that happened to us, was that fire. Because we learned everything that we had done up to that point, what we did well, what we didn't do well. The things we did well were similar to what everybody else has said. We built a community. Our purpose was community. It wasn't really about having a restaurant. It really wasn't about manufacturing macaroons or any of those kinds of things. It was about building a community that we could go out and make a difference in the world. And we did that. We created products that people actually wanted. I used to nickname our macaroons crack in a bag. Drugs again, I know. Because it was, if you can give something to people that they really want and put a cause, a movement, whatever you want to call it, with it, then you get a lot of loyal customers. And that was what really made us successful, was the people. It wasn't the fact that we worked really hard and 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, and those kind of things. It was because we built something for the people. The things that you learn on the other side, because it's all about learning, it's never about right or wrong. There is no such thing as right or wrong. It's only perspective. It's all about learning and what you take away from it. And what we had learned was, no matter how much success we had created, no matter how much community that we had built, there was something that was missing. And that's what the fire allowed us to step back, take stock of what we had done, where we had gone, and what we had yet to do became really, really clear. And that's kind of the path that we went on in the last year, is we're trying to get ourselves back on our feet. Because Organic Lives, thanks to all of you and this amazing community that we have, in Vancouver probably will never die because we have such amazing love and support that comes in every day. I still get emails and phone calls. When are you opening again? When can I come get a smoothie or a pizza or whatever it is? And that kind of customer loyalty, you just can't buy anywhere. You only get if you're grounded in your principles and your beliefs and your values. So the learnings really are, if you want to know what not to do, I can't really tell you that. We could all stand here and tell you all the mistakes that we've made, but every time you go and do something, it's going to be a little bit different. The challenges are going to be a little bit different. The products, your visions, everything's going to be a little bit different. The common element is the people, and that's what you need to focus on. Whether they're your people, whether you're your customers, whether you're vendors, the farmers, whatever it is, focus on the people, because that is what will bring you the greatest success. And as long as you continue to do that as an entrepreneur, you'll never fail. Whether the business succeeds or fails, doesn't matter. It's whether you personally succeed or fail. That's the most important thing. That's what an entrepreneur is about. Is what your personal passions, desires, beliefs, and how you take that to the world. In terms of, just getting back to, because I do want to be a bit of that activist, and I don't mind saying that, because we need paradigm shifts. I really would like to invite all of you to take a bit of time to reflect on the things that we are doing in our lives. And how do we make this world a better place? How do we end poverty? How do we end hunger? How do we end all the toxic crap that is going through our children's bodies? How do we do all that? And do it with a sense of pride and a sense of belief and hope that yes, we can make a difference. Whether it's the Monsantos of the world, whether it's our governments, whether it's the large corporations. It doesn't matter what they're doing or how big they get or how powerful they get. Because the most important thing for all of you to remember, and all of us, is the power in people will always be greater than the people in power. Thank you very much.